Hey everybody, this is Daniel Bader here for Mobile Syrup, and today I'm very pleased to show you the Google Samsung Nexus S, and this is the second generation developer phone released by Google, hopefully overcoming some of the shortcomings and mistakes they made in the previous Nexus 1. This is running a 1 GHz Hummingbird processor, 512 megs of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage, 5 megapixel camera with LED flash, NFC, Wi-Fi, GPS, accelerometer, gyroscope, and all that jazz. So let's take a look at it. First, before you ask me whether I went down to the US and got myself a T-Mobile Nexus S, I will say to you, no, trust us, this is coming to Canada on multiple carriers. Please do not ask us which one this is for. So let's just show you quickly the hardware and software. So you can see that this actually bears a lot of resemblance to the Galaxy S series. Google and Samsung have probably collaborated to fix a few of the problems with that, including input lag on the RFS file system. This is now running ext4. On the hardware side, the plastic is a little bit more robust. When you hold it, it feels solid. It definitely has a thicker battery cover that will prevent some of that creaking that Galaxy S Vibrant and Fascinate customers found. This speaker is no better though than the Galaxy S, and that's a disappointment. However, the 5 megapixel camera with LED flash is a nice addition, since the Galaxy S had no flash previously. The change to the bottom has been the 3.5mm headphone jack, and the micro USB port have been moved there from the top, which is now empty but for the battery latch. And on the left side you have a little bit more sturdy, though kind of frustrating volume button. I'm not going to say a rocker because there is no differentiation between the top and bottom, and you are likely going to click it in the middle and get both an up and down click. Though when I click it, you can tell that it's clicking both up and down at the same time. Kind of disappointing. On the top you have this very austere looking speaker grill, as well as a tiny VGA front-facing camera. The real showstopper though is the 4-inch Super AMOLED display. This is the same that's on the Galaxy S series. There really isn't that much that's changed from the Galaxy S series in terms of internal hardware, except for the NFC near-field communication sensor that is built in to this device, and I will show you that in a moment. The main difference though is that this is running a stock version of Android Gingerbread 2.3, the only currently released retail Android 2.3 device. This Gingerbread has been ported over to many devices with CyanogenMod, and that is another thing that I will touch on later. This is very, very easily hackable and will likely appeal to the developer community as well as the tweaking community with the easily unlockable bootloader, so you can load different ROMs. But this is stock Android 2.3, and as you can see, it runs very smoothly. The background live wallpaper is also running, and as you can tell, with all these microbes eating, the speed does not lower at all. You can see in the menus here, very smooth. This launcher is the new Gingerbread launcher, and let's just take a look at some of the features. So most of the stock apps that you will notice are the same. The main difference though is in the keyboard and the copy and paste, which has been improved dramatically. So if I want to say hello, how are you doing, I can do that. But if I want to change that, I just click on the word and I can change it to something inexplicable like hello, how are you all doing, and it will change. The keyboard is multi-touch compatible now, which is very nice, meaning you can hold down the shift button and press a key and it will work. That's an improvement over the Froyo keyboard. As well, if I want to say, select a bunch of text, I have these little icons here that will do it for me. So, for example, this text selection icon shows up now, and when I want to select a number of words, I can just increase and decrease it to where I want, hold down again, and then copy. So that's greatly improved over previous versions. It's not quite as smooth as the HTC Sense implementation, or iOS for that matter, but it is a great improvement over previous versions of Android, and it is much appreciated. The other main difference that you may notice, you can manage your apps straight from the launcher now. Goes into all of your running apps here. You can close them, whatever you like with them at will. You can also look at your downloaded apps and the amount of internal storage used. As you can see, there is 131 megabytes used and 877 megabytes free, so that's about just over a gigabyte available out of the 16 gigs of internal storage, which I will show you in a moment. So you can see there we have just over 13.3 gigabytes of USB storage available. The one drawback to this device is that it does not have a micro SD card slot, so you cannot increase the amount of internal storage above the 16 gigabytes, which is a very weird oversight, and I'm not sure why why Samsung decided not to include it, considering that the battery, which I will show you, is smaller than that of the Galaxy S series. It's still 1500 milliamps, but physically it's smaller, so I don't see why they couldn't include a micro USB port somewhere. It could be due to the NFC chip that is right here, I believe, and you can see on the back battery cover over here as well. Also, I just have to say the battery cover is much more sturdy than that of the Galaxy S Vibrant, though it's not metal like that of the Captivate, but I think they found a happy medium. So on the bottom you have 4 capacitive touch buttons. That is different to the Galaxy S Vibrant from Bell, which is right here, which only has the 3 buttons: home, menu, and back. You can see there are some style differences between the two. I do prefer the Nexus S. I don't like this chrome bezel here. I think it's pretty ugly, though the phones are similar in width. The Nexus S has a bigger hump or chin on the bottom, and that houses, that's due to the USB and headphone jack being on the bottom. The top is a little bit thinner on the Nexus S, and down the middle the Nexus S is a little bit thicker as well. You can see, I'm just going to try and show you here, the Nexus S has this curved screen, right? Whereas the Galaxy S is completely flat. And it's supposed to improve readability. It doesn't really make a lot of difference, though the screen on the Nexus S is gorgeous. The Super AMOLED display is 4 inches and 480 by 800 pixels, though it should be noted that at the Mobile World Congress earlier this month, the Galaxy S2 was announced with a 4.3 inch 480 by 800 Super AMOLED Plus display, which has double the number of subpixels below the screen, so the number of subpixels within each pixel that make up the 480 by 800 has doubled, and what that means is less graininess, especially when reading text, and the colors are a bit more vibrant. One of the other additions to Gingerbread, as well as this downloads tab, which isn't widely used, would be the tags. So what you do is you create a tag. It's either a text tag, a URL, contact, and you can press your phone right up to mine, and if I'm sharing that specific tag, you can take this tag from me as long as both devices are powered. As well, you can put the phone right up to a non-powered tag, such as that you've seen in other videos, I'm sure, that will read the information embedded in it, whether it's a URL or a piece of text or a contact as well. And this will be used widely later on in this year and towards the end of the decade, I'm sure, for payments for ATMs and other useful applications, because it requires such low power. Just one other thing. Camera software unfortunately has not been updated, though it is much faster at operating. The flash is a welcome addition to the Nexus S. As well, the Nexus S supports internet calling in the menu here. You can configure that for your own internet calling account to bypass the need for a SIM card at all if it supports it. The gallery hasn't really improved all that much. It's still the same old gallery. 3D effects, though it is much faster, I will admit, due to the Hummingbird processor running at 1 GHz and the lack of overhead by Gingerbread and the lack of apps running in the background. I'll just show you quickly here. The number of running apps is really low compared to what you'll find on an HTC Sense device, and I just want to give you a quick comparison to the running services on a Sense phone. And as you can see, if you go to manage applications, now keep in mind that some of these are third-party apps, but a lot of HTC widgets, processes, etc. just taking up resources. So you'll notice that the Nexus S will run much faster in general operation. So one other thing I just wanted to show you is the similarity in design to the Samsung Focus, and this is the Windows Phone on the left and the Nexus S on the right. You can see that they do share a bunch of similarities. The Focus is better made than the Galaxy S series, and though the back doesn't share much resemblance, you can tell that they definitely took cues from the Windows Phone for the design of the Nexus S, though I would have liked to see something like the volume rocker on the Focus existing on the Nexus S. But from the front, they definitely look quite similar. So would I recommend this phone? Yes, I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is looking for a very uncomplicated Android experience, anybody who is unhappy with the vendor treatment perhaps of Android, and anybody who wants to have a guaranteed schedule of updates by Google in the future. This would obviously be the first phone to receive any updates over the air from Google. This is also very easily hackable, and something that must be addressed is that I don't think that the carriers are going to really mess with that. This one command can unlock the bootloader on this. Fastboot OEM unlock will give you a wide range of options for rooting, hacking, modding, flashing, whatever you want to do with the phone. This does not have to be the Android that you use. This is merely a conduit for a number of different things that you can do with Android, and the possibilities really are endless, and that's one of the beauties of the Nexus line. So when this comes to retail, just keep in mind that the phone that you receive, if you really want to put in the effort, is not necessarily the phone that you have to use. The shell is more than capable of running any number of Android variations, applications, and mods. So as long as the developer community is active, and it is very active, especially in the Nexus series, the Nexus One is still a very popular phone among developers and community modders and hackers. and I don't see why the Nexus S would be any different from that. So if you're just looking for a straight up Android phone with a great experience running all the standard Google apps in a very, very nice package, screen, speed, front-facing camera, great 5 megapixel camera with flash, internal storage, enough to run most of your apps, this is a good phone for you. This is not the newest hardware. Obviously, dual-core phones have been announced since this was released in January. The Atrix is coming out on Bell. You have the Desire HD on Telus. Rogers is likely getting some new Android phones in the future, including the Xperia Arc by Sony Ericsson and the Xperia Play. So this does fall into kind of that mid-range hardware level that will compete with the top dogs for a few more months, but perhaps come mid-2011 it will be surpassed. But for now, this will be a great device to pick up, especially if you are a Android enthusiast. So that's it, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye.